Alexander III of Macedon, known to history as Alexander the Great, remains one of the most influential military commanders and rulers the world has ever seen. Born in 356 BC, he became king at the age of 20, and within a decade created the largest empire in the ancient world, stretching from Greece to Egypt to the Indus Valley. His life story is not only about conquest, but also about cultural integration, visionary governance, and an ambition that shaped the ancient and modern world. This document presents a detailed chronological history, interwoven with analysis and reflections on his campaigns, decisions, and enduring legacy. July 356 BC, Alexander was born in Pella, the capital of Macedon, to King Philip Roman II and Queen Olympia. Legend states he was born on the same night the temple of Artemis at Ephesus burned down, interpreted as an omen of a force that would change the world. His father, Philip Roman II, was an ambitious king who transformed Macedonia into a powerful state through military reforms and diplomatic marriages. His mother Olympias, a Molossian princess of Epirus, was deeply religious and filled Alexander's mind with tales of divine ancestry, particularly claiming descent from Achilles and Zeus. At age 13, Philip appointed Aristotle as Alexander's tutor. The philosopher taught him philosophy, ethics, politics, science, and literature. Under Aristotle, Alexander read Homer's Iliad deeply, reportedly keeping a copy under his pillow throughout his campaign. This education shaped his strategic thinking and lifelong passion for Hellenic culture. Regency at age 16 in 340 BC, Philip left for Byzantium, appointing Alexander as regent. During this period, Alexander suppressed a Thracian rebellion and founded a city, Alexandropolis, in his own name, foreshadowing his future city. Building across Asia, at age 18, Alexander fought alongside Philip at the Battle of Chaeronea against the Greek states of Athens and Thebes. He led the Macedonian left wing, defeating the Theban sacred band. This victory cemented Macedonian dominance over Greece and established Alexander as a competent commander. Ascension to the throne 336 BC, Philip's assassination in October 336 BC, during the wedding celebrations of his daughter Cleopatra and Aegae. Philip Roman II was assassinated by his bodyguard Pausanias. The motives remain debated, with theories suggesting personal revenge or wider conspiracies involving Olympias and Alexander. At age 20, Alexander was proclaimed king by the Macedonian noble. His immediate priority was consolidating power internally and externally to prevent rebellions or rival claims. Consolidation of power, Alexander swiftly executed potential rivals, including Amyntas IV, and eliminated threats within the aristocracy. He marched south to reassert control over Greece, where Thebes and Athens were contemplating rebellion. At Corinth, he was confirmed as hegemon of the Hellenic League, inheriting his father's pan-Hellenic mission to invade Persia. Campaigns in the Balkans, 335 BC northern campaigns before launching his Asian expedition, Alexander secured his northern frontiers. He campaigned against the Thracians, tribally crossing the Danube to defeat them. Destruction of Thebes during his northern campaign, Thebes revolted, assuming Alexander was dead. In response, he marched south with astonishing speed. Thebes was besieged and destroyed. 6,000 were killed, and the city was razed except for temples and Pindar's house. This brutal act ensured no further revolts in Greece before his Persian expedition. In spring 334 BC, Alexander crossed the Hellespont with an army of 32,000 infantry and 5,000 cavalry. He visited Troy to pay homage to Achilles, reinforcing his heroic self-image. His first major battle against Persian satraps in Asia Minor. Alexander personally led the companion cavalry across the Granicus River, achieving a decisive victory that opened Western Asia Minor to his control. He declared himself liberator of Greek cities under Persian rule, establishing democracies and gaining goodwill. Sardis surrendered without resistance, and he advanced along the coast, capturing Miletus and Halicarnassus after sieges. Alexander faced Darius III at Issus in southern Anatolia. Despite being outnumbered, Alexander's tactical brilliance led to a decisive victory. Darius fled, leaving behind his family and royal treasury. Alexander treated Darius' family with dignity, enhancing his image as a magnanimous conqueror. Tyre, a fortified island city, refused him entry. The siege lasted 7 months, involving construction of a massive causeway to reach the island. Tyre fell after a brutal assault, 8-0. 0-0 Tyrians were killed and thousands enslaved. Gaza resisted similarly, but Alexander besieged and captured it after 2 months. During these sieges, he demonstrated both strategic engineering genius and ruthless enforcement of submission. Egypt welcomed Alexander as a liberator from Persian rule. In Memphis, he was crowned pharaoh, adopting Egyptian titles and religious custom. In early 331 BC, Alexander founded Alexandria near the western Nile Delta. The city was designed by Greek architect Dinocrates, becoming the intellectual and commercial capital of the Mediterranean for centuries. Oracle of Siwa Alexander traveled through the Libyan desert to the Oracle of Ammon at Siwa Oasis, where priests allegedly hailed him as the son of Zeus Ammon. This further cemented his divine aura among his followers. October 1, 331 BC, the decisive confrontation between Alexander and Darius Roman III occurred at Gaugamela. Darius fielded perhaps 100 plus troops with scythe chariots and elephants. Alexander employed his classic oblique phalanx formation and cavalry wedge, breaking the Persian lines and forcing Darius to flee once again. With this victory, the Achaemenid Empire effectively fell, and Alexander was proclaimed king of Asia. Occupation of Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis. Alexander entered Babylon and Susa, receiving vast treasures. He marched to Persepolis, the ceremonial capital, and burned the palace of Xerxes as symbolic revenge for Persian invasions of Greece, though some suggest it was drunken impulse or strategic terror. Alexander pursued Darius into Media and Bactria. Darius was murdered by his satrap Bessus. Alexander buried Darius with royal honors, claiming to avenge him and becoming legitimate ruler of Persia. Bactria and Sogdiana. For 3 years, Alexander campaigned against guerrilla resistance in Bactria and Sogdiana. He married Roxana, daughter of Bactrian noble Oxyarchs, to secure local loyalty. He founded multiple cities named Alexandria, most notably Alexandria Eshet, the furthest in Fergana Valley, marking his empire's northeastern edge. Crossing the Hindu Kush in 327 BC, Alexander crossed into India, encountering fierce resistance from local tribes such as the Aspasioi and Asagnoi. Faced King Porus on the banks of the Hydaspes River, modern Jhelum. Despite Porus' use of war elephants, Alexander's tactical brilliance led to victory. Impressed by Porus' courage, Alexander reinstated him as satrap, extending his own rule indirectly. Mutiny at Hyphases. Reaching the Hyphases River Bees, his troops refused to march further east into the Gangetic Plain, exhausted and fearful of vast Indian kingdoms beyond. Alexander reluctantly agreed to return. Journey through the Gedrosian Desert. Alexander led his army through the Gedrosian Desert in a disastrous march where thousands perished due to heat and lack of water. He reached Susa in 324 BC, organizing mass weddings between Macedonian officers and Persian noblewomen to integrate the cultures, though these were unpopular with his Greek soldier. Administrative reforms. Alexander implemented policies to integrate Persians into his army and administration, creating tensions with Macedonian veterans who felt their privileges threatened. Death in Babylon in June 323 BC. While preparing an expedition to Arabia, Alexander fell ill in Babylon after a banquet. After 10 days of fever, he died on June 10 or 11, 323 BC at age 32. The cause remains debated: malaria, typhoid fever, or possible poisoning. Division of the empire after his death, his generals the Diadochi divided the empire into rival kingdoms. Hellenistic civilization, his conquests led to the Hellenistic Age, an era of cultural fusion between Greek and Asian traditions, spreading Greek art, architecture, philosophy, and language across the Near East. Enduring influence, Alexander remains a symbol of youthful ambition, military genius, and the philosophical question of human limits. From Julius Caesar to Napoleon, leaders have sought to emulate him. His legend grew into myth in medieval Persian, Arabic, and European literature as Iskander or Sikandar. In just 12 years, Alexander forged an empire that fundamentally transformed Eurasia. His vision of cultural unity, though short-lived politically, left a civilizational impact lasting centuries. His life stands as a testament to ambition and strategy, but also the human cost of relentless conquest.